Thank you so much for joining today's session. My name is Shubha Vishweshwaran, and I'm working on brand at Proactive for her. And thank you, Dr. Taru, for leading this very important discussion that we have today on vaginismus. And I just wanted to give a quick message on that. I wanted to let everybody know that we are really thrilled to be offering this as a lead up to all of our activities planned around World Vaginismus Day, Vaginismus Awareness Day, on September 15th. And in fact, Dr. Taru and the team here at Proactive have been so excited about this that we are actually spotlighting vaginismus healing for an entire week starting September 11th. So please make sure you check out all of that valuable content that we'll be offering on our social media. So with that message, thank you. Welcome again to this important session on vaginismus healing by Dr. Taru Jindal, a very special gynecologist who is trauma-informed and, lucky for us, a vaginismus expert. She has spearheaded and been leading Proactive's Vaginismus Healing Program for the past 2 years and has healed over 200 women to date. So today what we're going to do is I will hand it over to Dr. Taru. She will take you through an introduction to vaginismus, its causes, her inspiring journey actually of healing, and of course the healing program that we offer itself. This will take about 30 minutes, and then we'll take about 15 minutes to give you an inside look into our 8-week online healing program that we offer and that we're so proud of because of all the women's lives that really have been changed. And then we'll take the last 15 or 20 minutes or so to answer any questions that you, the audience, may have. Before I hand it over to Dr. Taru, just a quick poll we wanted to do. Can I ask everyone to raise your hand if you believe that women usually experience pain during their first penetration? Just take a few seconds for that. Wow, okay, so look at that, Dr. Taru. We've got about, people are still coming in. We've got close to about half of the people believing that pain is really an unfortunate necessity in this. And I think we'll all be pleasantly surprised when we hear your presentation. So with that, let me hand it over to you, Dr. Taru.
Hello, good morning. Very excited to be here with all of you. I cannot believe that almost 111 women are here. And that just goes to show how important this topic is. You know, I think we started this program back in mid-2020, and at that time, there was hardly any conversation around this issue. In fact, the first blog on vaginismus in India came out in 2019. Right, which just shows that we've not been speaking about women's sexual pain. Most of our conversation tends to be around childbirth, right? Women's health is equated to childbirth, and that's unfortunate because we don't look at what happens before childbirth. How does she conceive? How does she have sex? What is the kind of pain or pleasure she has during sexual intercourse? So let's just start talking about vaginismus, and let me just share screen as I speak. So, Shubha, you can see my screen, right?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, let's understand what is vaginismus and why have I called it the gentle art. Vaginismus healing, the very basic of vaginismus healing is gentleness. We do it with a lot of love, with a lot of compassion, with a lot of care, right? It's not a very painful, problematic, miserable experience. It's a very gentle experience, and it almost feels like an art because there are very concrete steps involved. It feels like I really felt after every program, it felt like painting on a blank canvas, right? So let's just understand what is vaginismus and why do I call it the gentle art. So what is vaginismus? Very, very simple definition. Any woman who finds it very difficult to allow vaginal penetration of anything. It could be a finger of a gynecologist, it could be your own finger while you try to put a menstrual cup or a tampon, or it could be the penis in a sexual situation, right? Even though this woman really, really wants to do it. So the definition highlights that she really wants it, but somehow she's not able to do it, right? So this is where the helplessness of vaginismus comes in, because a part of her is saying yes, but a part of her is saying no. And she somehow is not able to control the situation. There is a sense of being out of control. There is a sense of not being able to be master what's happening inside your body. And a lot of people feel that, oh, she just does not want to do it, or is she having an affair? There are thoughts about this woman, but that's not true, because there's probably no other woman than this one who wants to do it, right? So why does vaginismus occur? Let's understand vaginismus is a contraction or a spasm or a closure of the vaginal opening whenever anything tries to come close. This is not an issue with the hymen. This is not an issue with your vaginal space, because your vagina is literally like a rubber band. It can expand to 9 centimeter to deliver a baby's head, right? Penis after erection is usually around 3.6 centimeters wide. So space is not the issue. Hymen certainly is not the issue. I'm going to talk about the hymen later on. The issue is the muscles around the vagina are normally in a relaxed state, but the moment something tries to come close, just shuts down like this. And it feels like a cement ball. It feels like there is no hole. It feels like there is a block there, right? But why does your body do this? So imagine if I were to just throw some dust on your face, what would happen? Your eyes would just shut. Or if I tell you, put your hand in boiling water. So you would say, okay, Dr. Taru is telling me, so I'll do it. But the moment your hand touches boiling water, it's going to withdraw. You're not doing it. It's an automatic reflex response. So your body has many protective reflexes to save you, protect you. So just as your hand and your eyes are protecting you, your vaginal opening shuts down as a protective response, because your body believes this act of penetration is threatening, right? We don't want to do this. We don't want to go there. So it protects you by closing the vagina. Now, the question is, why is your body protecting you? So, vaginismus is all about two organs. You can see here, this is the vaginal opening and this is the uterus. These are muscles around the vagina. The penis is trying to get inside, but like you can see, it is stuck at the door and the vagina is closed. But as I said, vagina is just receiving the impact of something your mind is saying. Your vagina is not the doer. Your vagina is simply the recipient of the instruction. It's just doing what the army general just says something and the soldier does it. So your vagina is like the soldier that is executing what the army general is saying, right? So the cause of vaginismus is not in the vagina. The cause is in the mind. Everything that you do is thanks to an impulse from your mind, and your body executes it. So your mind is saying not safe, dangerous, don't do it. And that's how it closes down. Now, what is there in this tape? Like I always give example of the tape recorder as your subconscious mind. So your mind is two parts, conscious and subconscious. So your subconscious mind is the mind you're not aware of. It's like the storage room of your house where everything that happened in the past is stored in the storage room. Think of it like a tape recorder. Your tape recorder was empty when you were born, and slowly it was recording every influence that happened to you as you grew up. So, in the context of sexuality, something got recorded in your subconscious that said no. And hence, when you're having foreplay, your conscious mind is like, hey, I love him, I want to do it. But the moment penetration starts, your subconscious tape recorder starts to say, no, nothing doing. So conscious is saying yes, subconscious is saying no. There is a tug of war. and the subconscious mind wins because it is 95% of your mind. Now let's understand what exactly got recorded in this tape recorder, because of which, even though you want to do it, your subconscious keeps saying no. One of the first things I've understood, the most important things, is that women in our country have been exposed to this influence very early in life, that penetration is painful, right? They may have heard it from friends or sisters or cousins that first night I landed in the hospital, I bled, it hurt. If something so dangerous is going to happen, is your body ever going to allow you to do it? It almost is like an injection. And every time we even took a COVID shot, we were getting scared, right? So your body contracts when penetration happens because it believes this is going to be dangerous. Uh, or if you've been exposed to a lot of news of sexual abuse, like the Nirbhaya case, a lot of women were growing up at that time and they had no idea what pleasurable sex was, but they only heard about rod going inside and intestines coming out. Trigger warning here, girls. Uh, so what your little mind records it, oh, not safe, not safe, right? The second thing could be sex is immoral, wrong, dirty. All of us have grown up in families, schools, societies that are very orthodox about sexuality in India. You're supposed to be 100% asexual till the day you get married. And suddenly, overnight, you turn into a sexual goddess and produce a baby in the first year of your life. How is that ever going to happen, right? So, what's wrong for 25 years cannot change overnight. This could be the second reason. Third reason is bad touch. If we've been molested or experienced bad touch in public transport or anywhere else, it could be one of the reasons why your mind and body records it as a very negative experience. The very first experience is negative. Fourth could be fear of pregnancy and your body unconsciously contracts. Any kind of trauma you had around your genitals, like very painful periods, like endometriosis, or something that just caused a lot of pain, any surgeries down there, any traumas down there. So your body goes into a protective mode around that area. Just as if you have a fracture, for about 6 months, you're doing this about this area, right? So this could be one of the reasons. And lastly, some women may not have any sexual trauma, but not feeling safe or protected in their childhood is enough recipe for vaginismus. If a girl or grew up seeing parents fight, a lot of violence between parents, being hit by parents or teachers, being bullied at school, or any other severe life incident that the child was overwhelmed, that about which the child felt overwhelmed, that could be one of the reasons. So what happens is, at the minute penetration starts, even though she's aroused, she's wet, she wants to do it, the tape recorder suddenly starts to say shame, shame, pain, pain. Basically, vaginismus is a story of shame and pain. So when we start healing vaginismus, very simple. We don't start with the vagina. A lot of times I've seen a lot of vaginismus protocols being focused around dilators, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that we can't start with it because the root is not the vagina but the mind. Unless you actually open that tape recorder and find out which negative influence was recorded, heal it, delete it, and replace it with a positive yes. Till then, no matter how much you work with your vagina, you'll not get results. So we always start with emotional healing, and we obviously then afterwards couple it with vaginal relaxation, because your vagina has got now continuously tightened because of the habit of contraction. So emotional healing and pelvic floor relaxation are two main components of vaginismus healing. Now let's just talk about what are the various causes of vaginismus? There could be two types of vaginismus, primary and secondary. So the main kind of vaginismus I'm talking about is primary, which means a woman who really wants to have penetrative intercourse has never been able to do it in her life. This is primary vaginismus. The cause is emotional. The cause is psychological, even though the manifestation is in the vagina. Okay, so there is no physical cause found. If you go to a gynecologist, you just find everything is normal. This is primary vaginismus. Secondary vaginismus means a woman who had painless, pleasurable intercourse in the past, but now is not able to do it for some reason. usual causes are some physical causes like endometriosis deep in your vagina. After childbirth, if your episiotomy or that cut that is taken, those stitches are hurting, or if you've had repeated painful infections, any surgeries down there, radiotherapy, all of these, traumatic childbirth, when you were harshly dealt with during your vaginal birth, that could be one of the reasons. And finally, if you are experiencing conflict in your relationship, right, that itself can cause secondary vaginismus. So then there are causes for secondary vaginismus, sometimes physical, sometimes emotional. But primary, it's always emotional cause. Now, what is the impact of vaginismus on the individual? It's usually very low self-esteem because women in our country are brought up to believe that giving sex, providing pleasure, nourishment, all of child bearing babies, these are a part of your identity. This is what you are. And if this is not happening, then how do you define your identity? Women start to lose their self-confidence. They start to feel I'm inadequate. Somewhere I'm inferior to others. Her personality gradually becomes more irritable. She starts to snap a lot more. So the vaginismus itself may cause some problems in the relationship, but the resultant impact on her personality may worsen the issue in the relationship. As far as the relationship, like I said, is concerned, I have seen most urban men being supportive of women, even if they have this condition. But as time progresses and they don't find any solution to this, as 2 years, 3 years, 4 years pass, gradually the partner also starts getting frustrated because he feels I didn't sign up for this, and they gradually, move apart. Some people separate. If some people just become friends, even if they are in the relationship. So yes, vaginismus can crawl into other parts of your lives and kind of consume a lot more than just the sexual penetration. And hence, someone had said so one of my patients had said that when I got vaginismus, I didn't just lose penetration, I lost a lot from my life. And when I healed vaginismus, I didn't just get back penetrative intercourse, I got back my whole life. So that's why vaginismus is I mean, it's a condition that really has widespread impact. Okay. Now let's briefly talk about how do we diagnose vaginismus. So vaginismus, if you just have any of these very diagnostic words coming out of the client's mouth, that's how I see it, or any one of you, resonates with any of these things here. When I penetrate, it feels like a wall, feels like there is no hole. The moment I was aroused, I really wanted to do it, but the moment penetration started, my whole body tensed up, my thighs contracted, and it felt like a wall. It felt like there was no space. I just pushed my partner away, right? So the more we pushed, the more it hurt. It felt like there is something tearing down there. These are very diagnostic of vaginismus, right? Vaginismus is highlighted by anxiety just before penetration, right? So, do we have to have a vaginal examination, and where do we go? So, generally, women reach out to gynecologists because that's where we generally go if we have any vaginal issue. Now, gynecologists usually will go for an internal exam. I generally say very gentle, sensitive examination with a small lubricated finger should be enough to rule out any physical causes, because we want to rule out these causes, right? I spoke about certain causes here. We just want to rule out if there is any physical cause down there, and that can be done with a very gentle internal examination. And in case it's painful, we have to stop. Unfortunately, sometimes what happens is vaginal examinations themselves can become very traumatic for clients with vaginismus. So we have to remember we can say no, right? And if you have any of these symptoms, then I mean, we are almost sure this is vaginismus. We just can do a abdominal ultrasound to rule out other causes, or very gentle internal examination if possible. If not possible, it's okay, right? We don't have to force ourselves to undergo a painful procedure. Now, this is about diagnosis. The question is, why am I talking about vaginismus? I started working on vaginismus in mid 2020. It's been 3 years. I'm a gynecologist, hence, but I'm full time working on vaginismus in the last 3 years. The question is why? Because I had vaginismus for 7 years. Even though I'm a gynac married to a psychiatrist, these are the two professions that actually deal with vaginismus. Yet I could not find wholesome help for this. I was in relationship with my partner for 7 years before marriage. Yet after marriage, the very first thing that happened was vaginismus, and we were shocked because we did not expect it. And then we were in medical colleges, yet we found it very difficult to find wholesome help. Someone said, "Oh, it's always gonna hurt, just bear it." Someone said, "You don't love your husband, think of how much you're troubling him." I was being shamed for the pain I was facing, as if I'm doing it on purpose. Your husband should have left by now. The kind of judgment I received from gynecologists, even though I was a gynecologist. And lastly, use some numbing gel, lignocaine, as if we want to have sex by numbing ourselves down. Someone said, knock yourself off with wine. These statements didn't hurt. The more judgment I received, the more I withdrew within myself. And hence, it took me a long time to even reach out for help because I was scared of the judgment I was receiving. Anyways, my self esteem was going down. On top of that, the judgment I was receiving. And hence, I would work, then I would avoid, and then I would work, and then I would avoid. This cycle of avoidance and seeking help went on for 7 long years, and we got very different kinds of approaches everywhere. Someone said dilators, someone said fingers, some psychologists said heal your childhood abuse. Different approaches. I wasn't able to stay consistent, and hence long 7 years. And by the end of 7 years, I was so frustrated that I finally decided, hey, I have to take it upon myself to heal myself. And guess what? In just under 4 weeks, I healed myself and had my first painless penetration after 7 years of marriage. It was a very, very, very difficult time. And that's when I and my husband really felt, hey, if as being medicos, we struggled so much, I don't know what other women would be doing at this time. So, as we talk about vaginismus in India, there is a culture of normalizing pain. Period pain, normal. Childbirth pain, normal. Sex pain, normal. We are constantly told pain is a part of a woman's life, bear it. And hence, a lot of women who are experiencing pain don't talk about it because they think they won't be understood even by other women. Second, talking about sex is a taboo. So we find it very difficult to even find words to talk about what we are experiencing. Most of the healing protocols around vaginismus are dilator centric. We just talk about dilators. We are missing out a huge piece of puzzle, which I spoke about. And even when we reach out to medical professionals, we don't really find good answers. A lot of my clients have said, hey, we were not even told this term vaginismus. Had we known about vaginismus, you know, that time we would have healed faster, we would have received help faster. So we don't know the term, we don't know how to diagnose, we don't know how to treat. Somewhere the focus on vaginismus in our healthcare system is really lacking. So as we understood, if I could suffer, then any other woman could suffer, right? And we don't have enough healing protocols in India, healing programs in India. So Proactive came along at the same time when I was thinking about launching some sort of support group on vaginismus. Proactive is known to be a very bold platform for women's health issues, very non-judgmental, very trauma-informed, very, very inclusive in its approach. And that's when I and Proactive got together and we thought of creating a 2-month online healing program for vaginismus, right? I'm going to speak about the components of the program a little later with Shubha, but it's a very, very, very comprehensive and a wholesome program. You may think just 2 months. My answer is it sometimes doesn't even take 3 to 4 weeks to heal vaginismus, right? So let's talk about how do we heal vaginismus? And I'm just going to go through this very quickly, briefly, that I designed a 4-step healing program. I just give me a second, guys. There's an urgent call. Just give me a second. So, pakdo. Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now, Dr. Taru.
I can see you're muted. Okay, fine. I'm really sorry. There was an urgent call I had to take. So, I was speaking about this 4-step healing process that I designed with the experience of my own healing under 4 weeks, like I said, and the experience I've had in the last, few years with vaginismus. We created a 4-step formula. So what is a formula? Formula means if I do 2 plus 2 here and Shubha does 2 plus 2 wherever she is, this is a formula of addition. We both are going to get the same result, which is 4. Right? So a formula means whoever applies it, wherever they apply, the answer is going to be the same, provided you apply it correctly. So this is a 4-step formula for healing vaginismus, and if you apply it the way it is designed to apply, within about an average time of 6 to 10 weeks, most women get the right answer, which is painless, pleasurable, penetrative intercourse, right? So let me take you quickly through this 4-step formula. Like I said the root cause is in the subconscious. So we start with emotional healing. In the first week, we open up the reasons why we may have got vaginismus, and with some psychology techniques, we start to heal that. It obviously takes a few weeks for it to heal, whether it is childhood trauma or it is back touch or it is experience with pain, like hearing penetration was painful, or any other such reason. The second thing we start is vaginismus also happens because we've been very disconnected with our bodies. Some women don't even like the way they look. They've never looked at their vulvas. They don't know how many holes are down there. So the first week is all about getting to know yourself and really starting the emotional healing. The second step is we start working with vaginal training, which is vaginal dilators. The third step is involving the partner, and the fourth step is penetration. Very quickly, to show you what is the pelvic floor. Pelvis means your buttock area, and floor is the floor. So floor of the pelvis is called as pelvic floor, right? So it looks like this. Like you can see like a bowl here, a bowl of muscles here. And it's a sheet of muscles. It's a combination of many muscles that have formed this pelvic bowl. Now there are 3 holes here, as you can see. This is the urethra, vagina, and anus. So there are 3 holes inside this bowl, and these muscles surround these 3 holes. Now this is the pelvic floor. The pelvic floor, the job is to relax and contract. Every time you pass stools and urine, or relax, then contract. Every time you have a baby or during childbirth, relax and contract. Every time a penis goes in, relax and contract, right? So this has to seamlessly happen. But when you have vaginismus, instead of doing this while penis is going in, your vagina is doing this, contracting. So it has become tight over time. Instead of being relaxed, it's tightening, tightening, tightening. And hence, what we do for vaginismus healing is pelvic floor relaxation. So we learn a few exercises to relax the pelvic floor, usually belly breathing and reverse Kegels, and we teach our clients how to do that, right? That's the first component of healing. The second component of healing is to realize that arousal is the game changer. Just as you can see the dimensions here, normally the vagina is 3 to 4 inches long, 1 inch wide. 1 inch is 2.5 centimeters. This is the normal length of the vagina, as you can see here. But when you get aroused, this through 3 to 4 inch balloons out to a 5 to 6 inch barrel. And the 1 inch at the entrance balloons out to 1.5 inches which is around 3.8 centimeters. And I just said erect penis is around 3.6. So it becomes bigger than the penis, and there is lubrication inside. So the length 5 to 6 inches and the width 3.8 centimeters is big enough for your penis to go in. The back end actually balloons out to a 6 centimeter balloon. Can you see this? This is what happens to your vagina after arousal, and I call this vaginal erection. Just as penis balloons out and gets erect, your vagina balloons out and gets erect. That's because a lot of blood comes in here and it kind of becomes like a holy balloon, right? Hugely, like it becomes huge and big enough for the penis to go in. You can see the dimensions here. It is big enough for your penis to go in. So vagina doesn't have space is not true. Not true. Enough space, enough lubrication, and vaginal erection is the cornerstone of this concept that I can heal and I have enough space. Now, finally, because we are scared of penetration, what we do is we use vaginal dilators of various sizes, starting with a smaller one and going up to a size as big as the penis, wherein these are actually not called as dilators because we are not stretching the dilating the vaginal hole. Your vagina is anyway stretchable. So what we are doing is these are actually called as vaginal trainers. We are training the mind and the body to relax in the presence of something in the vaginal opening, right? So it's a concept of training. You train your mind to not freak out, you train your body to not tighten, and we start going painlessly from one dilator to another dilator. The basic concept here is the cycle of pain. The more you experience pain, the more your body tries to protect you, and hence the dilation protocol has to be painless. We ensure that we don't feel pain while we dilate, and that is how we actually proceed with our dilators. Till the time it is painful, I don't even proceed with bigger dilators. So training, this is called as vaginal training. So these are some concepts we use in the program. As you can see, this is the position of dilation. Lastly, before I end my presentation, I just want to talk about this one myth. Everyone feels first night hurts. Is it true? Is it true? Now, let me tell you, if penetration is the act on which the future of humanity depends, right? Penetration, procreation, babies, population, right? If that's the act on which the future of humanity depends, nature would be a fool to make it painful. It has to make it as pleasurable as possible, and hence it cannot be painful. Second, 217 women who have healed with us, who had experienced pain in the past, when they did it the right way, the answer and the experience that most of the women share is, "Hey doctor, I didn't even feel it going inside, and I had to really ask my partner, is it in? Is it in?" That's the truth. Then why is it that it's just so propagated in our culture that it hurts, it hurts, it hurts? So most of the women think about the hymen as a very tough obstruction to penetration, right? Normally, this is how a normal hymen looks like, and there is a small hole from which period blood comes out. Now, this is not a rigid obstruction. It is a very thin membrane out there which doesn't just pop one day you penetrate. Usually, what happens is every time we kind of squat on an Indian toilet, we get up on the buses and we stretch our thighs and buttocks. Every time this is stretching, stretching, stretching. And over time, like an old shirt tears away, like a 10-year-old shirt. The moment you do this, it tears. Similarly, your vaginal hymen just stretches out over time. And every time it stretches out, it is thinning out, thinning out, thinning out. And one day it is gone. Many of us don't even have a hymen by the time we come into our first intercourse. That's the first reason. And the second thing is, even if you have a hymen, it usually does not bleed and it does not hurt because your hymen does not have nerves. No nerves, and hence there cannot be any pain. That's the science. And second, if at all there is bleeding, there are hardly 1 to 2 thin hair-like blood vessels in the hymen, and hence 95% of the times you'll not even see bleeding. If at all you see, it is just one little streak on your dilator. right? It definitely does not bleed like a pool of blood on the bed, the way we have read in literature, right? So hymen most of the time is not there when we come into our first intercourse, because it is just stretching out and wearing out over time. Even if it is there, it does not just pop like this. It will just stretch, 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 right? 100% of the times, no pain. And if at all there is bleeding, streak like thin, like hair like blood vessels, may streak, feel like just one streak of blood. But that also in minority. 98% of the women in our program who've had their first painless penetration never bled. And even if they bled, they told me, doctor, it just feels like one streak of blood on the dilator that was painless. Then why do women say it hurts and bleeds? It hurts and bleeds because they were not erect during penetration. Remember this, when the vagina is 3 to 4 inches long and 1 inch wide, and she's not aroused. Either she's not aroused because she's scared, she's contracting, or the partner just did not take efforts to arouse her, then she's not erect. The guy is erect, she's not erect. Now there is a mismatch. Now there is no lubrication. There will be vaginal friction and micro trauma on the vagina that will bleed. Hymen will not bleed. Your vagina may bleed if you're not erect. Nature never thought that he will get an erection, you will not get an erection, and then we'll penetrate. Nature never thought that. Nature created its own design that both will be erect, there will be enough space, and there will be smooth movement, then no pain and no bleeding. So, this myth of pain and bleeding has got created because probably many women started penetrating without being adequately aroused, right? Let me just show this is the normal hymen. Some women come to us after, having had a hymen surgery for vaginismus. I just want to say there is absolutely no reason even to do a hymen surgery, because if your hymen is also cut, it's not going to cut the contraction. So if you have a hymen surgery, it has to be followed up by vaginal dilation. And hymen surgery also is overdone. It has to only be done for any of these three different hymenal variations called as septate, cribriform, or microperforate hymen. Only for these three variations we need with hymen surgeries, and these are rare kind of hymens. These are not usual hymens, right? They will need hymen surgeries, but the others don't. Most of them have been overprescribing. They have been overprescribed surgeries, and even after that, it's not enough to cut through the hymen. You have to do vaginal training to relax this contraction. And so most women anyways come into our program after hymen surgeries. So this is the last thing I wanted to share. Don't worry about the hymen, don't worry about the space. You have the right hardware and the right software. Think of the laptop, that's your hardware. The Microsoft is your software, right? When both are there, and then also the laptop is not working, that means there is a virus in the system. Similarly, your hardware is a incredibly stretchable vagina, and your software is the ability of vaginal erection. When both are there, then 100% painless, pleasurable, penetrative intercourse with the penis will happen, right? And that's your design. If it's not happening, that's not because your vagina is defective. That's because there is a virus of pain and shame in our system, which has to be worked on and healed systematically through therapy. Like I said, these are the viruses in our system. And because antivirus just takes 10 minutes to work, similarly, healing vaginismus barely takes 4 to 8 weeks. And so it's a very short time of healing. We don't have to think of it as a saga of pain and misery. Not at all. It's a very, very revealing, and a very exciting time to heal vaginismus. Okay, I'm done. So, Shubha, let's just go ahead with some other questions that you may have. I'm just gonna leave at this.
Yes, thank you so much. It was so very enlightening, Dr. Taru. I think now we'll spend a few minutes and share with everybody who's joined us today on what the actual kind of components of the healing program are. So I wanted to start with giving them a little bit of background on the entire team that you have on the healing program and how they work together and work with the coach and how that all kind of
Yeah.
comes together so beautifully. If you could just tell
Right.
everybody about.
So now we have a large team of 9 women therapists, and these include psychologists, psychiatrists, and I'm a gynecologist. So we are a team of 9 women, and we are obviously hiring many more coaches now. We probably will grow to a team of 15 very soon. So what tends to happen is our program has two main components. One is individual therapy and one is group therapy. So individual therapy means each of you will get an individual coach for the 8 weeks. So out of these 9 coaches, you will get one coach that's allotted to. Let's say I'm your coach. Then throughout these 8 weeks, every week I'm going to meet you online and I'm going to take you through all of these 4 steps of vaginismus healing. I'm going to do the emotional healing for you. I'm going to take your questions. I'm going to support you over WhatsApp, even person. Like a lot of times, these doctors and psychologists have a lot of boundary around, WhatsApp messaging. But we are very free with that. We always tell our patients, "Hey, please message me tonight. How was your experience of dilating?" So we are very much as a partner, more than a coach. We are a partner with them in the healing journey throughout 8 weeks. This is your individual coach. Then you will have few group sessions in which you will have few of these 9 coaches, any of these few 9 coaches will come and do the group therapy sessions with you. Group therapy means you sit with other 20 women who are also doing vaginismus healing along with you. They have also started the program with you. Now, how group therapy helps is, I always felt that during the 7 years of healing, I never saw another woman with vaginismus. I really wanted to know if there is any other woman on this earth who has vaginismus, because then my sense of shame and inadequacy would have reduced. But then I never got to see anyone. So my first thought was, when I create a program, I need to have support groups because I want to have women see other women with vaginismus, hear others' experiences, and realize that we all are having similar experiences. I did not create vaginismus within me. It's not my fault. Vaginismus is the environmental impact on me. Just one person gets COVID, then we think, maybe he did something. The whole world got COVID, then we are not at fault. It's the COVID virus. So if 217 women who've healed with us, plus me 218, but so many in the pipeline. If there's so many women with vaginismus, then it's definitely not me who did something. I did not do this. Now that happens when you see other women with vaginismus. So group therapy and individual therapy, these are the 2 components of our program, and I'll obviously take you through the other components. You're on mute, Shubha.
Thank you. Great. Now I want to address some of the questions that we often get asked about the program, Dr. Taru. One is, does the partner need to be involved? And what if women don't have a partner or have a partner who doesn't want to be involved?
So there are many women who come into our program who don't have partners currently, right? They may be single or they may be divorced for whatever reason. And they probably had relationships in the past which were affected by vaginismus. That's totally fine. They want to have confidence going forward into other relationships. So for these women, everything remains the same, just that the step 3 and 4 with the partner does not happen for them because they don't have a partner right now. So their end points would be to comfortably, painlessly dilate or train with the largest dilator, to be able to have their other goals or milestones fulfilled, like menstrual cups or tampons or vaginal examinations or pap smears, and to truly reclaim their sexuality, as in to have sexual desire, to want to masturbate regularly. So these are some goals for single women. As far as women who have partners are concerned, it's very important for the partner to be involved in the program as well, because as you know, only half of the journey is with her. Step 3 and step 4 eventually is with the partner. If the partner is not aware of what is vaginismus, why does it happen to women? Why did it happen to my partner? Is she trying to do it on purpose? These are the questions he needs to understand as well, so that he knows she's not doing it on purpose. She is as helpless as I am in this situation. And she needs compassion, she needs empathy, support, cooperation, than blame and judgment. So, this perspective can only come if he engages in the program. He also has to understand what is this 4-step process and how he's supposed to cooperate, engage in step 3 and step 4 of the program. I cannot talk to her because I'm talking to his partner. So, we have created a partner support group, which is not as intense as women's sessions. We just have 3 sessions in 8 weeks. Women are doing about 28 sessions in 8 weeks. This is the amount of intense engagement they need. But men just need 3 support groups. It's a group session which is taken by my husband, Dr. Dhara, who is a psychiatrist and who has this experience of being a partner of a woman with vaginismus. And obviously, he's a psychiatrist. So he takes care of the partners, we take care of the women, and we have separate groups. We never have, we don't have men and women sitting together in support groups. Ideally, that probably should be the case, but currently we have kept it separate. So partner support is incredibly important, and their engagement ensures 100% success.
Great. Now, what about the effectiveness of doing this online? We've also gotten some questions about people who are wondering about that.
So women wonder, how would this be treated online? That's what many women wonder. But let me tell you, vaginismus healing is probably one of the best conditions to be treated online, right? Because it does not need me to be there with you in your room to dilate. Effective coaching can happen online, and you can just follow it up in the privacy of your home. So guidance in coaching is enough to be able to do it on your own. Second, because it's very intense, like I said, 28 sessions in 2 months, that's like intense engagement. So you're gonna feel like I'm around you all the time. Third, it gives you the necessary privacy and confidentiality that you need, because you don't have to take leaves, you don't have to go out of your house, you can do it in the privacy of your room. No one needs to know you're doing this. No loss of work has to happen. Everything can go on with your regular life, just that you need to create emotional space for this. We roughly just say 1 hour twice a day. That's the amount of time. If you regularly do for 8 weeks, you should find yourself healed by then. I also forgot to mention about a few more components of the program. One is individual therapy, one is women's group therapy, group support group, one is partner support group. We have 2 more components, which is pelvic floor relaxation therapy. One of our own past clients who healed is now a coach with us. So she helps in teaching a few asanas and relaxation techniques for vaginismus healing. And lastly, pleasure coaching. Because we realize we are not here for just painless penetration. We are here for also pleasurable penetration. So in order to reclaim painlessness, we have this protocol, 4-step protocol. But we also want to reclaim pleasure, which has gone away from our lives or has been taken away through a very orthodox culture. So we have a pleasure coach, Aprupa, who is in fact an Instagram influencer. So she takes our women through the pleasure aspect of the program. So as you can see, it's a very, very comprehensive and a wholesome program in which we address every single component.
Great, great. Now, how many women have healed through this 4-step process? I'm sure women would like to know, and maybe you can share some specific healing stories, Dr. Taru?
Perfect. So let me just share screen. So like I've been continuously using this number 217. 217 Indian women from across the world have healed 110%, and they are on their way to painless, pleasurable intercourse. So many of them have got pregnant, have had babies. So yes, that's the number, and we are still counting as every day we get messages. I would like you to go through 2 testimonials that we had recently received, and they were beautiful. Obviously, out of the many, we chose these 2 to share with you.
Okay, great. So I'm really glad to have been part of this journey, as this program helps me connect with a community of women facing similar issues. Being part of this group and sharing my most personal challenges in such a safe space in itself was very cathartic. The program was very well planned, and each of the modules helped me to reach my goal in a gradual and safe manner. I'm really thankful for all the facilitators of the program to help me and guide me through my anxieties and inhibitions. They have remained in touch, constantly checking up on us, even after the program duration. And that personal touch was what made this program stand out for me.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, really beautiful. It keeps us going.
Yeah. Those women are still in touch with us. A lot of women who healed are
Yeah.
still in touch with us.
Yes. Okay, we have one more for you. I'll just go ahead and read that as well. Hi, I have been suffering from vaginismus since my college days. Post-marriage, I reached out to many gynecs, but they were unaware of this condition. My husband came across this program online. It's by far the best decision I've made. I'm forever grateful to Dr. Taru and team for their constant encouragement and support. For anyone dealing with vaginismus, please enroll without a second thought. Sorry, Dr. Taru, I think we've...
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, the testimonial slide. I just didn't finish reading that.
I'm sorry, it got moved.
I think it just got, yes, just the last slide, yeah. So for anyone dealing with vaginismus, please enroll without a second thought. If not for this program, I wouldn't be enjoying a healthy and happy sexual life with my husband today, which is so beautiful and such an important aspect in marriage. The program's methodology, coaching, handholding, and taking you step by step is truly impressive, and you're bound to see results quickly. You're also surrounded with an amazing support group who totally empathize with you, and your privacy is never compromised. Yeah, I think we hear these stories all the time, and it really keeps the team going. And as Dr. Taru said, expanding, helping more and more people, reaching out, putting out content. This has really been quite incredible. Dr. Taru, what about some further resources that women can use to get a deeper understanding of this condition and its healing process?
I'm going to share it now. Just wanted to say I love this slide, which is, I always say, a woman with vaginismus would want to say this to the entire world, that if I could, I definitely would, right? Vaginismus is not my doing. I didn't do it, right? And it's very important for all of us now to speak about this boldly. Let's end the silence and the shame. Let's end her suffering. Let's end the blame.
Great.
So as far as the resources are concerned, so you can go to Proactive for Her's YouTube channel. We have a playlist on vaginismus where we've recorded a few very effective videos on vaginismus. Second is Shubha would be sharing a link to the Spotify podcast where I have interviewed a few women who've healed with us in our program. So you can actually hear their stories. This is just me speaking here, but there you can actually hear women speak about their healing journeys. So please go through the link. And third would be, Shubha, I think it will be important to share the link how they can reach out to us for help if in case they think that they have vaginismus. So the process goes like this, that if any one of you here think that you or anyone you know may be suffering with this condition and you would like to reach out to us, then the link is shared below. This link is simply a diagnosis call link, as in you book a diagnosis call with us. It's called the guidance call, wherein you will have a 45-minute call with one of our online gynecologists. They will be asking you a few questions, clarifying and trying to diagnose for sure if you have primary vaginismus. If yes, you will be enrolled into the program and you will be given a basic outline of the program like I did today. Our wait time for the program is less than 4 weeks, anywhere from 1 week to 4 weeks, depending on when you do the call, because we start a new batch every 4 weeks. So right now we're doing the 22nd second batch of the program, and the 20th batch will start. This is the step, just process called, and your actual program starts as the 8-week program later on. You can also go through our website. We are proactive for our website has a web page on the 8-week Vaginismus healing program, and you will also get some details there, right? Yes, Shubha.
Great. So the link for the resources that Dr. Taru mentioned, as well as the link for the screening consult with Proactive for her to take the next step is all in the chat. So please go ahead and just sort of copy that and keep that with you. Now we do have a lot of questions, and I'm very mindful that we are running out of time. So what Dr. Taru has kindly agreed to is that we stay on a little bit longer. We'll take about another 10 minutes or so and answer as many questions as we can. So please do stay for that. We will extend by another, actually, let's extend till 12:15. I think we have quite a few questions. We'll extend till 12:15. So if you can stay on, please go ahead and do that. Just before that, before we just take those questions, I just want to do another quick show of hands now that you've heard Dr. Taru's presentation. How many of you, just you can raise your hand if you now believe that vaginismus is 100% curable? We'd love to hear. I love that number. It's shooting up, Dr. Taru. Great. Excellent, excellent. So quite a few believers. We still need to get some more believers. So hopefully you'll stay in touch with us and see our Vaginismus content in the next couple of weeks for Vaginismus Awareness Day coming up in September 11th. Now let's go ahead and take some questions. Doctor, we have quite a few questions around you know, people are kind of wondering, what do they do if they have one finger is comfortably being able to penetrate, but maybe not two, but if there is difficulty, so is the next step a concept for them?
Yes. So see, this is not about one finger going in or two fingers or three fingers. It's not about that. The question is just before. So vaginismus is core, the core issue about vaginismus is sexual penetration. So are you able to have painless, pleasurable, penetrative intercourse, right? And able to do it without any anxiety or hesitation? That's the question here, right? So the question is not whether one finger or two fingers. Generally, we say when we are doing vaginal dilation, when the last dilator is going in comfortably, or your two fingers are going in comfortably, you can kind of rest assured that your penetration should happen. But like I said, only vaginal dilation is not the answer here. Emotional healing and involving the partner is as important.
Great. Now we have some questions. We have a question around I was initially facing vaginismus. I still am, but slightly better. I have been molested and I was on antidepressants for a few years. I certainly feel aroused, but it is limited to my thoughts only. I'm unable to convert that into physical energy.
Yes.
Would be
So
the next steps.
There's nothing like mildly healed vaginismus. There's nothing like that. Either you have vaginismus or you don't have vaginismus, right? So there's nothing like mildly healed, right? So if you're still not fully healed, as in you are able to have regular, hesitation-free, painless, pleasurable, penetrative intercourse with the penis, till that time, we can't consider ourselves healed, right? So I would really request you to consider joining the program to complete whatever part of your healing is left, right? If you've already done some work, it should be easier. And yes, like I said, bad touch and all of these are few reasons why we get vaginismus. So healing that would really help. And working on pleasure is a part of our program. So we obviously work on all of these issues together.
Great. Now, someone has asked, I've been married for 7 years, but have difficulty in penetration. Husband is supportive. I love him so much, but actually my sexual desire is declining. Will that also be cured in the program?
Yes, so let's realize that low sexual desire is not how we started off. We all had very high sexual desire at one point of time. But as vaginismus goes beyond 1, 2, 3, 4 years, our body starts to lose hope, starts to feel hopeless about the condition, and it feels, why should I get disappointed repeatedly? Let me just shut down desire so that I never go there. Right? So your body actually protects you from repeated disappointment by shutting down desire. So loss of desire is a consequence of long-term vaginismus. It will get better if you heal vaginismus. As the hope comes back, your body says, yeah, it's good to now bring back sexual desire. So women regain their sexual desire after healing vaginismus.
Now, somebody's asked, is it possible for someone who has never had penetrative sex to have vaginismus due to a physical deformity? In not being.
Yes. So how would you even know that you have vaginismus if you've not had vaginal penetration? Right? So vaginal penetration either was attempted, but then you were not able to go through it, or you went for a pap smear and you just could not go through it, or you tried putting a tampon or a menstrual cup, just was not able to go through it. These are some indicators of vaginismus. But if you've never had any experience down there, you cannot be sure whether you have vaginismus. I told you, secondary vaginismus can have physical causes.
Now, somebody's asked, I've already done dilators, but I need mental support. Can Proactive for Her help?
Of course, there have been so many women who came to us after doing a few dilators. Like some people were on D3, dilator 3, some people did dilator 4, some people even did dilator 5, but still were not able to go ahead with penetration because an important piece, two important pieces of the puzzle was missing. One was emotional healing and one was involving the partner. We have to create safety with the partner before we jump from dilators to penetration. So that's step 3. That's why it's very important. And we have 3 important things we do for the partner involvement and partner engagement. Hence, I think you've done one part, but 2 other parts are missing. So recommend you to come and speak to us in our guidance call.
Great. Sorry, 1 second. We have so many questions. Does sexual desire go down with age? As a 40-year-old, can I still cure vaginismus now?
We have 2 women who are 43 and 44 right now in our program. Age is not the issue here. It does not matter how many years of vaginismus you had. It can still take the same time, 6 to 10 weeks. The time to healing is dependent on how many associated factors do you have. For example, if there is a lot of past trauma, then it takes slightly longer. Or if you have some partner conflict going on, that takes longer. But the age doesn't matter.
We have somebody asking, could really painful vaginal exam during pregnancy be a cause to have vaginismus?
Yes.
I never had
Secondary
painful
vaginismus.
until
Yes. So any painful experience around the vagina can trigger a protective reaction from your body. That's why I said traumatic vaginal birth could be, and trauma could be because of anything that was traumatic to you during childbirth. That could trigger pain around the vagina, and secondary vaginismus could be a result. We've treated women with secondary vaginismus in the program. Please come back. Please talk to us.
Great. Now somebody's asked, what if the healing period takes a little bit longer than they've written 4 to 8 weeks? Our program is 8 weeks.
So our support for you does not end at 8 weeks. I know that I took so much time to heal myself, right? So we continue to do individual therapy with you after 8 weeks. 8 weeks is just a random structure we have created based on the average time taken. But some people, like I said, can take 4 weeks. Some people have even taken 6 months. So if you are ready to engage with us after 8 weeks, your coach is going to be there with you till the last step. You just have to keep coming for individual therapy once a week with us. and we are going to ensure that you cross the finish line, whether it is 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. Don't worry.
Great. Okay, so we have some questions around women that are having painless penetration, but they feel no pleasure.
Right. So that's not vaginismus then. If it is painless penetration and you're struggling with pleasure, I recommend you have consultation with our pleasure coach, Aprupa, who's a consultant in our organization. So you can actually have sessions with her and try and find what can you do to improve pleasure. The second question is, why is the pleasure gone? Pleasure can go from our life if we are stressed with work, if we are stressed in our relationship. Any reason for physical and emotional stress can take away pleasure as well. So please also address the root cause of that.
Great.
So one person has just said, I live abroad, I'm planning to visit India. Yes, so you can do this session either from India or from abroad. We take international clients, don't worry about it. Someone also just said, what are which dilators we send? So I showed you the picture of the dilators, right? So we provide you a set of dilators through Proactive as well. And there is another set that we recommend, and you can get it from Amazon. It's called as Flovene dilator set. So these both dilator sets are good, but our dilator sets are they are silicone, so they are more like they have a better feel, more penis-like feel. Whereas other than there are those plastic dilators, Flovene are plastic dilators, but of course there is a difference in cost. So both are fine. You can choose.
And is there a coach available in regional languages for?
So we have people from different parts of the country who are coaches. So we usually do the program in English. The entire program is in English. But yes, there have been a few clients from North India who were Hindi speaking. But the basic need is you need to be able to understand English at least to be able to do the entire 8-week program. And then we can allot you a coach who is Hindi speaking. For example, I and one other coach is Hindi speaking. So we can do the individual sessions in Hindi, but the group sessions, everything happens in English. If you are from a regional place, I mean, you don't understand English at all, and it is in only regional language that you'd like to talk, then probably uh, we would have to take you to for just individual therapy and not for the whole program, which is not as effective, but because the other components are also very important. But we see, you just come for an individual session and we see.
Great.
So one person has asked, I confuse myself with being asexual. So like I said, if you said I love foreplay and crave for it, then you're not asexual. If you have sexual desire, then you're not asexual. Okay? You are struggling with the next step, which is penetration. That is vaginismus. So you are not asexual, you have vaginismus, right? Whoever has anxiety around penetration, but rest of it is fine, that's not asexuality. Yes. Are 100% cases of vaginismus curable? Yes, they are. Does the program allow for flexibility of time? We can think of adjusting your individual sessions based on your preference, but usually our coaches work anywhere between 10 to 6 p.m. So we can adjust it between that time, but your group sessions are at specific times on weekends in the evenings.
Doctor, we have a question around secondary vaginismus. Somebody says they have secondary vaginismus. What can they do and who should they see at Proactive to get help for that?
So you just come for the 45-minute guidance call. The link is being given. Come for that. Let us decide whether it's primary or secondary or what it is. If it is secondary vaginismus, we also treat for secondary vaginismus. You will be directed to one of the coaches to treat secondary vaginismus accordingly. Someone is saying, can I just go ahead and buy dilators? Unlikely. I mean, we would not like you to just go and buy dilators. It's important to be a part of the program to get the dilators. And there's, like I said, dilator therapy is just a part of it. The most important aspect is emotional healing.
We have a question around success, I think, and effectiveness of the program. I think we
We've
answered
done
that.
it. We've done it.
Yes.
Should I get married if I have vaginismus? Marriage is not an issue. You can heal it before it or after it. In fact, so many women knew they had vaginismus. They were getting married in the next 6 months. So they did the program along with their partner. They healed vaginismus and they got married after that. It's not an issue for us. Marriage is not an issue for us. Is it possible to attend the session instead of my partner because we are in distance? Yes. If you both are in different places, you can still do the program. So you do your program from where you are. He does the partner support group from where he is. When your dilators are coming to completion, example dilator 4 or 5, we advise you to just kind of spend 7 days with your partner, either go on a vacation, spend 7 days with your partner, and we can take you through the last 2 steps with him in case you're, living in separate cities. Yes, so additional, so you pay for, someone has asked, do we need to pay for additional fees after 8 weeks if we need support? Of course. So you're going to pay a sum for the number of sessions you get in the program. When that is exhausted, for every additional session we pay. But what we've done is, in order to make it easier for women to continue therapy after one second. After the program, then we've given them additional discounted package, which is not as the cost is not as the program, it is lesser than that. So you can continue your follow-up after the program at a lesser cost.
Okay, I think we'll take a few more questions. Let's see. We have some questions around yeast infections, STD, and vaginismus. Is there any?
Yes. So, like I said, repeated yeast infections are painful. So, they can lead to secondary vaginismus. STDs, yes, they can lead to secondary vaginismus.
Okay.
We cannot give you the dilator links because, as I said, we are not a supplier of dilators. We give the dilators as a part of the program. So whoever is doing individual or program work with us can buy dilators from us, but we are not like supplier of dilators here.
We have a question around pelvic floor therapy. Somebody has is not able to be relaxed, not just during intercourse. I often don't realize it. I notice that my muscles are not relaxed even when there is no threat.
Yeah. So we have become used to contracting the vagina. For example, I used to feel that for no reason I'm watching TV and my pelvic floor is contracted, right? So even if there is no threat in front of you, we tend to go into a pattern of contracting the vagina, and hence pelvic floor relaxation is required to heal, kind of to do away with these contractions. So you can check our program for the costs, and the costs are, I think we have 2 plans. One, I forget the exact number. I think one program is 19,000, another program is 20,100 or 200. So like I said, this is probably the most economical program you're going to get in the entire world. Because if you go abroad, routinely programs are between 1 to 2 lakhs. This is a program you're getting between 19K to 20K with what? 28 sessions? I mean, we've tried so hard to make it economical and affordable to middle class and women who, are earning for themselves. So, does vaginismus result in erectile dysfunction? Yes, it can. Sometimes what happens is men who've never had erectile issues, after many experiences of, trying to penetrate, and then the woman is scared and she freaks out and she withdraws. After repeated attempts, the guy starts to feel a sense of disappointment around penetration, or a sense of anxiety around penetration. Is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? And because of that anxiety, he may end up in erectile dysfunction, right? So the erectile dysfunction in men can be secondary to vaginismus. And yes, we've had partners who've had erection issues as a result of this. And because we have Dr. Taru with us, who's a psychiatrist, we also help them heal erectile issues. So that's not an issue.
I think let's take one more question. We have several questions around arousal. People are wondering, and I think you did talk about that. We do address that in the program.
Very important. In fact, pelvic floor relaxation and arousal are the two most important aspects of an emotional healing. If you ask me, our entire program is like a tripod. It's a tripod of three main things: emotional healing, pelvic floor work, and pleasure work. So without these three things being met, we find it difficult to heal vaginismus. So all three uh, are a part of it. Someone said, Dr. Taru, please train gynecologists of India on this. Many don't know or accept this condition. I've been suffering since 10 years. So, yes, I am going to various gynae conferences and speaking about vaginismus because I know that in my 12 years of training in medical field and being an MD in gynecologist, I never ever heard or read about vaginismus in my books. So I understand what you're saying, and I'm speaking to them. And if you've been still suffering with vaginismus since 10 years and it's hampering your relationship, please come forward. We've had women with anywhere from 6 months to 14 years of vaginismus come and heal with us. Please come.
Great. With that, thank you so much for staying on, Doctor, and thank you all for joining us and staying extra. We are thrilled to have answered more of your questions. And on behalf of Proactive for Her and the Vaginismus Healing Team, I just want to say that we want to let each and every one of you know that we're so proud of you for taking charge of your own health, your pleasure, and your well-being. Deciding to heal is everything, and just know that you are not alone in this journey. We're all here for you. Thank you, Dr. Taru.
Yes, you're not alone. We are here with you. Thanks for being here.
That will end. Thank you.
Thank you.